amigos, how are you today? Today I want to talk to you about something very, very important in your planning, which is your air ticket. To go many places you have to. You might be doing a cruise. Actually, the reposition cruises that you take from Florida to crossing the Atlantic are very good travel, but today we're going to talk about flying. So for the flights, the number one thing I want to tell you is this: finding options for your destination. You will have airlines that might or might not have direct flights. So the first decision to make it is if you can afford to go on a direct flight, because usually direct flights might cost more money than the airlines with connections. You know, the longer the flights, the more connections you have, sometimes it's cheaper. So you make a decision there, the ones with a connection and the ones direct. Number one. Number two, and it's very important that you use your travel professional to find those flights, because sometimes some browsers that you might be using to buy your air only show what they want to sell. Not everything that is in the market, not everything that is in the air, right? Number one, that. The number two thing I want to talk to you about is how to judge the time in each airport. And that is a skill that is very difficult, but with the experience that we have, with all the flights we book and all the flights we take, we pretty much are able to advise you in what airports you could have a 1 hour connection. There is a legality on it. The airlines can tell you legally is 45 minutes or legally is 1 hour, 60 minutes or so on. But practicality is a different story. If you talk about different airports, let's say Charles de Gaulle, Paris, it's a huge airport, very, very large and very, very busy. So those ideas I want to tell you is that not every airport you could do a quick connection. And what happens is that some of the browsers that you go, they are only going to give you this tight connection. So we have different systems, and most of the time we're able to give you flights with time enough for you to take a breath, walk. You don't have to be running in the airports like I see many, and sometimes I do have to run too. But the idea is to have a pleasant travel day as much as possible. So the connections and the how to decide, please talk to your planner, because they know better about the traffic and the things that could happen in each of the airport. Okay, also it's very important to make a decision. Where do you want to make the connection? American carriers, meaning Delta, United, American Airlines, they normally will go to another point in the US and then they cross the Atlantic with that. So you have the choice to either make the connection in the US territory or fly to one of the major airports in Europe. I always look there because I have a big world map. You cross the Atlantic and make the connection in Europe, which is what my recommendation usually is. Sometimes the Northeast has a lot of problems with weather, so we don't recommend to make stopovers or changing planes in New York. If you're from New York, if you're from the Northeast, you're lucky. You have so many options from there. Or if you're from the West Coast as well, you have San Francisco, you have Los Angeles, San Diego, many international airports. But if you're in Florida or anywhere in the US that it doesn't have a main hub, my suggestion is to go to cross the Atlantic first, because once you get to Europe, guess what? You not only have a lot more options to fly within the countries, but you can also have the train system, or you can even drive. So that's my recommendation, but of course everything is case by case. I will do my recommendations according to the case. So these are my tips for you to verify if you have any airlines that will fly direct to your destination. Second is to find out what type of connection, what airports you should or shouldn't try to get. And the third one is about switching airports when is possible. So there's many cities that they have one smaller airport right very close to town, and the major international airport, it is far away meaning about an hour to the city center. So that's another decision to make when you pick your flights. Is like, where exactly do you want to fly? You might make a connection and then get closer, or you might switch alternative airports. Sometimes you have to fly to another country because it's closer to the city that you are in. So that's very, very interesting. For instance, I was going to Romania, but then you fly to Hungary because it's very close to the area that I needed to be. Not that they don't have more airports, it's that you need to know what closest airport, and not necessarily is in the country you're going. So those are the 3 tips for today, that you really leave this in the hands of someone that has a lot of experience booking air, and you can do some of your research, but bring all the information and allow your travel planner to pick the right flight for you. Right? Those are my tip for today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. We'd love to hear from you. Bye, amigos.